How's it going, traders? I'm back with another video reacting to the FX guru Lambo Raul. 140k subscribers, only 72 videos. Mate, when I look at these channels, how are they popping so many views? I know they've got the cars, you know, I know they have good traders. I'm not saying they're not, because, you know, Raul is someone that he's smashed it in the game. If you look through his channel 2, 3, 4 years, and even before this, he was probably been grinding socials as a content creator, and you know, all that sort of stuff. I even remember when he did the 100k with FTMO. Look, you can see right here, 2 years ago. It feels like 5 years ago now, honestly. The guy's a GOAT. Nothing but positive things to say about him, and he uploaded a new video, which is how I made 70,000 day trading. He's got his Ferrari in the background. It's a 16-minute video. I'm going to give off my opinion on the trade that he's taken and how he's trading and all that sort of stuff. So if you are new around here, like and subscribe for daily content. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. First and foremost, I just want to thank you guys for 140,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. That's absolutely insane. I remember when I first started this YouTube channel, I was literally just giving you guys just breakdowns, showing you guys my results, and my YouTube channel has grown so much since then. And I just want to thank you guys so much, because that's absolutely mind-blowing that my YouTube channel's at 140,000 subscribers. That's just absolutely crazy. I just want to thank you guys again, and I hope you guys have been enjoying all the content I've provided, whether
send some this way, brother.
It be a vlog or trading content, and it's just like such an honoring feeling to see all of you guys DMing me on how essentially my YouTube content, my trading content, to be a little bit more specific, even like the vlogs, the motivational content as well, but specifically with my trading content, how that's been able to help.
Look how clean this camera is, by the way.
Your trading and helping you ultimately become a better trader. You know, seeing those DMs, knowing that
wow,
I've been able to impact your trading for the better is honestly such an amazing feeling that I can't really describe. Just knowing I'm being able to help literally tens of thousands of traders out there ultimately is what's keeping me to actually continue to give you guys content. And it's literally just from, like, not even DTI, but from my free YouTube.
Raul, why are you recording on some B-Tank camera with this intro, man? Come on, bro.
I know. Free Telegram where there's a ton of different trading content. It's such an honoring feeling, and it's such a blessing, to be honest. And I just want to say again, thank you guys for the continued growth. This is absolutely amazing. And you know, when I first started this YouTube channel, I don't want to say I knew one day I was going to hit 140.
Nah, you did.
I definitely want to thank you guys for, you know, helping me get to this point, and I hope I could just provide as much value as I can to you guys.
I just want to say, if you watch this guy, and you have negative things to say, then you need to re-evaluate your life. And what I'm trying to say is that the work ethic, you don't know what happens behind the scenes, how hard he works with business decisions, the way that he can grow engagement on Instagram, YouTube, open up different businesses in different industries as well. You know, it's probably not just all trading that he's doing. And the guy's, what, 24? He's living and learning whilst being successful. Managing money is one of the difficult things also. You know, and this guy clearly manages money. He's got these cars. I would say they're all paid out, but, you know, it's a true inspirational. Like, if you're older than him or even younger than him, the guy's 24. If he can do it, anyone can do it. And he will say the same, but you can't teach hard work, and that's something that he's done.
So, without further ado, I want to break down, obviously, my position that I ended up taking today on the NASDAQ. So I was trading.
But, as I just said, he should never have started that video with his webcam camera or some whatever it is, you know. But look at the way that he's managing this right now. He's got his MetaTrader open, trades toolbox, trading in the bottom right, showing the trades, and then he's going to do a back test. Open up the video straight away. He's going to show you how he did it.
That's 100 this morning.
Keep note.
Of course, I'm going to show you guys my results here. So as you guys can see, this is not a screenshot. I'm going to be flipping through the time frame here. You can't do that on a screenshot, obviously. Then you guys can also see that this toolbox down here isn't a screenshot either. And you guys can see the two positions that I ended up taking today. So one position hit for $45,000, another position hit for $22,000. So it was overall like $68,000 a day around there. You know, I obviously did see higher profits and I did give profit back to the market, but we'll talk about that in a bit. You guys can also see that I did do a $1 withdrawal after the trade itself, just to show you guys that obviously this is a live account. But you guys can see like the total withdrawals on this specific portfolio is $153,000. Now I have 3 different trading portfolios on Hero, which that is the broker that I currently trade with, and it's mainly because of the execution speeds, the deposit times, and the withdrawal times are literally lightning fast. That's why I have 3 different portfolios on Hero. Obviously my other 2 portfolios do have larger capital, and depending on the month and depending on my risk tolerance, that will basically determine, you know, what portfolio I'm actually going to trade. As you guys can see here, you know, there's different withdrawal sizes, and that's ultimately coming from different portfolios. So
mate, MambaFX, I've seen this broker around. Who is the owner to this? That's all I want to know. You know, respect to him, 362. But who owns this, man?
I'm going to refresh the screen here. As you guys can see, this is,
but look at them withdrawals.
Screenshot. Either literally have withdrawn
100, 1,000. You got 41,000, 200k, 280k. I'm actually gonna go reevaluate my life.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars on Hero alone, and again, like, depending on the portfolio that I was trading, ultimately determines whether I'm trading on this trading account or I'm trading on my larger portfolios. I feel like it's always good to diversify your risk, not have all of your money in just one specific trading portfolio. Like I have a trading portfolio that has 7 figures in it. I also have a trading portfolio that has 6 figures in it. I also have another trading portfolio that's kind of like in between the lower 6-figure range and the 7-figure range. And ultimately, depending on what risk I'm taking in the markets, will determine what portfolio I'm actually trading. So as you guys can see, I do have a lot of withdrawals here on Hero. I mean, there's a withdrawal for $107,000, probably there's a withdrawal for 200k. Then obviously, then we have another withdrawal for like $218,000, and you know, then we have some smaller withdrawals, 40k.
It's nuts, man.
And ultimately, every single withdrawal that I've requested on Hero, I've gotten with 0 problems. And that's one of the main reasons why I trade on Hero. As you guys know, I've obviously traded on multiple different brokerages in the past, but I've stuck with Hero throughout this entire year because they're just absolutely amazing. So if you guys are interested in also trading on these same brokerage that I'm currently trading on right now, you guys could also check out the link down in the description. Of course, you know, if a better brokerage pops up in the future, you know, I may switch to that brokerage, but right now Hero is the best trading brokerage for indices, at least in my personal opinion and my experience. So other than that, everybody getting straight to breakdown, let's pop up the trading view chart.
Hey, here we go. Breakdown coming.
So again, when it comes down to me basically starting off my pre-market analysis, right, I always like to start off on the higher time frame. So really I started off on the daily time frame, and initially what I saw on the daily time frame was that the previous daily candlestick actually did come all the way down into this kind of like 14,700-ish support, and there was a big rejection towards the downside at this area of support. Now again, you know, supply and demand, support and resistance, I would never really consider it to be just one specific price range, but you want to consider it to be like an overall zone. Now inside of that zone you can have your specific price points, but ultimately it's a general area. You know, it's not like one specific price where there's liquidity. It's, you know, 14,700, 14,699, you know, there's liquidity throughout that entire range. So the way I see, you know, supply and demand, support and resistance is an overall zone, and essentially what I saw here was that on the daily time frame, price action did actually fail to continue to trade lower, and there was a lot of rejection towards the downside, which ultimately tells me that there is buying pressure in this range.
I wonder if this was news or not, though, because mate, I don't trade NAS, but
possibly. So and not until price broke back under 14,700 would I have actually been interested to continue to go short, because we're rejecting a major area of previous structure and we're rejecting a major area of support. Now going down into the 4-hour time frame, you can
surely
see
it sold more, no?
Here price pull all the way back above 14,700, come down to 14,700, and continuously failed over an 8-hour range to actually break under that price range. Now it was trading under obviously 14,700 for quite some time, but it never truly closed under 14,700, which there's a big difference between price action closing under a certain area, say your support or resistance range is at 15,000. Price can be trading above it for that specific 4-hour candlestick or that specific trading session. Let's actually call it. But by the end of that trading session, if price closes back under, ultimately there wasn't enough buying pressure or selling pressure for price action to continue to go in that direction, and essentially you could just call it a rejection, right? So price rejected this area here twice, to just kind of keep it into simple terms, and we ended up seeing price action continue to actually go bullish. Now, when it came to my position on the day, obviously there was a little bit of a range here that formed on our lower time frame. So this is kind of how I had the range marked off here with pretty good precision.
Previous highs,
so
support.
Initially, price ended up coming back above, closing above this area of structure. So not only do we have this inverted head and shoulders pattern here on the hour time frame, we also have a break of structure and a change of structure. Notice price action was actually at one point in time forming these lower highs and the
head, shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. Sorry.
These lower lows. Now price ended up going from making lower lows and lower highs to then making a high, a higher low, and then a higher high. So that was a big sign for me that, hey, you know what, we can probably see a continuation to the upside. It's like, okay, well, price action on the daily time frame has rejected a major area of support. We have price action change in structure, break in structure, and actually continue to start making new highs instead of making new lows. And on top of all of that, we also have a pretty much a market structure reversal pattern. As you guys may or may not know, it's an inverted head and shoulders pattern. And all I'm doing is looking at the probabilities of where price action can go. You always want to be thinking about price action in probabilities. And in a situation where on the daily time frame, you know, we have signals to go bullish, or to at least to look for buys. On the 4-hour time frame, we have signals to look for buys, and on the hour time frames, we have multiple signals to look for buys. It's like, from all of the confluences that we've gathered together, we're basically building a hypothesis on market direction. And it's like, okay, well, you know what, we have all of these clues that price action has a good chance to continue to actually go up. You just really start thinking about different ways on how you can take advantage of price action actually going bullish. And again,
I'm liking this because you know, I'm pretty sure if you don't watch other people but you just focus on price action and like the supply and demand zones, where the market is actually heading, what's a break and a retest, like once you know the basics of trading, you can literally trade. It's just yourself that holds you back. And that is what all of these, when I've reacted to these traders, that's all they go on about, you know, the most basic things, which is not a disrespect at all, because I also go over the basic things, and it's very interesting to hear it. And they will also say the same thing. It is yourself who makes you fail with trading. If you stick the same risk, the same way you trade every single time, in the end you will be up. Risk to reward, price action, just everything like that. It's so important.
Have multiple confluences together. What you're starting to do then is build a high probability setup. And that's what you want to be focusing on, is mainly just your high probability setups. Again, in a situation where we have all of these different price action signals telling us like, hey, you know, this is the bullish signal, this is another bullish signal, this is another bullish signal, why would you want to look to buy if the probability for price action to continue to go up is a lot higher than price action just randomly dumping and going lower? Unless there's like some data that's supposed to come out, and you just want to wait and see, you know what, let's see what the data actually says, like if it's CPI or NFP. But price action, like I said again, ended up coming up bullish. And when it came down to the market actually opening up, so we had the market actually pull back down and retest our previous area of structure here, which is the trade that essentially I wanted to take at first right here. This is where I wanted to take the position at first. That's not where I ended up taking my position. But
that Richard Mill, by the way,
9:15. And for those of you guys who have been following me for quite some time, I don't trade until 9:35. So price action ended up actually market open just completely rallying, and I didn't take any positions throughout this entire rally here. Now, what I did see was price action actually pulling up into this area of resistance here, or previous support here on the 30-minute time frame, which, I mean, there's multiple different ways to mark it off. I had it marked off based off the hour time frame, basically right here, kind of trying to find like a median or so, and price action actually ended up coming all the way over here. My thought process was, at that point in time, say, okay, well, you know what, I missed my first setup of the day. The only way I can look to actually continue to buy the NASDAQ would be if we get like a nice solid break and retest at this area of resistance over here, or if price can come all the way back down and end up rejecting this area and potentially coming back up into this highs, which gave me a little bit more clarity on take profits as well, because throughout the day, as price action was starting to move, my first TP on this setup that I would have taken over here, it's like, okay, well, you know, we could target this area up here where there's also some recent structure, or we could target that area that's marked off in the hour time frame, which is over here, which ultimately, you know, this would have been both my take profits and it would have been like a one and done situation. But now that price action had given us another range of resistance, like, okay, well, you know what, let's kind of change how this is marked up and move this up to here a little bit, right? Because now this is essentially the high of the day, and now we're starting to see price action actually pull back. So basically, I had just simply set an alert right here for price action to come down, and it's like, okay, well, you know what, price action's already starting to pull back. If it comes down, I'll get alerted, or I'll look for a possible break of the high setup, which price ended up coming all the way back down. I got alerted, got back onto my computer, and you know what, my first inclination to take my position here would have worked out great, but I decided to, you know what, like, it's kind of later in the day, it's like already midday already. I don't usually take positions here. I'm going to wait for a little bit more confirmation. I'll wait for an engulfing of some sort, which then I really considered taking a position at the break over here, but it's like, you know what, let's think about risk to reward here. If I end up taking a position right here where price action is actually at and support is all the way under here, I have to put my stops under support. Do I really want to take a position and possibly just try and get a 1.8? It's like, no, I think I'd rather wait for another retest of that area, which price ended up coming all the way down here. It's like, okay, great, I can probably get that retest and that rejection. That's when I come down to a lower time frame, and then we had this nice double bottom also form off of this 5-minute time frame here on the same area of support, because I would have missed out taking the position here. It's like, okay, you know what, let's wait for a retest and a rejection so I can get a better risk to reward ratio, or potential better risk to reward ratio, which price ended up coming all the way down into this range here, and that's when I ended up basically taking my position when this candlestick actually closed. And then when price action, and you know, talking about risk,
it's probably the better entry anyway. I can't believe it retested all the way down here and then went, but maybe it's because it didn't touch.
Specific position, my stops
I don't know.
under here.
Don't trade
My
that
first
pair.
profit was up here. Say, okay, great. You know, and me being patient, I'm actually being able to actually get a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio on this trade for my first TP. Then obviously my second TP was up here, and then my third TP was all the way over here. I'll explain to you guys how I decided to show my stop loss in a second. Now, when price action actually continued to go up and start to break the previous highs, I decided to take another kind of small position over here as well at the break of the highest high of the previous candlestick. Because I want you guys to think about just kind of one thing here. If price action formed a double bottom here, and now we have a break of the previous highest high, essentially that's just showing us that there's also a greater probability for price action to continue to go in that direction. Sometimes it may not be immediate, such as this one, but again, the probability is there because price action went from forming these lower highs and lower lows on the wicks to then forming higher highs and higher lows on the wicks as well, which is also a pretty good sign for me. So on my first position, I had roughly a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, almost a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Let's call it 3 point, just to be a little bit conservative, let's call it a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Right on my second position, I was getting a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and that's just on the first take profit. Now my entire game plan when it came to this take profit here, and if I was going to hold it or not, it's like, okay, well, you know what, now that this candlestick actually closed and I'm in pretty good profit and we're almost at TP, I'm going to trail my stop loss. I'm going to use this red line to show you guys my trailing stop loss. Like, okay, well, I'm going to trail my stop loss to the previous candlestick low. When the next candlestick opened up, it came all the way back, or pulled back a little bit and then continued and closed. Like, okay, now I'm going to trail my stop loss to this candlestick low. Then this candlestick came all the way up into that resistance and then ended up closing with a very little wick. It's like, okay, now I'm going to trail my stop loss to this candlestick low just to try and squeeze out as much as I possibly can from this position, which ultimately I almost got stopped out here, which is, again, another reason why I trade on Hero, because the spreads are so tight. I have a raw spreads account that I did not get stopped out on this little pullback here, and then the next candlestick opened up and just blew right through it. That's when I continued to trail my stop loss, and I just simply did that the entire time, which it worked out great in this specific trade. And like, again, like, there's going to be times where like the trailing stop loss works great, such as in this specific position, but then there's going to be times where the trailing stop loss doesn't work out so great, and I could have been potentially stopped out early and continues to actually run. So there's pros and cons to every single
You got to respect the way that you trail the stop loss, you know.
thing about trading and your specific trading system. You just got to find ultimately what works best for you. And then at some point, I allowed price to pull back on me a little bit too much. I gave back to the markets roughly like $15,000-ish or so, because if I would have just like continued to allow price to go up and basically just allow my trailing stop loss to get hit, I would have literally squeezed out like 95% of what the move on the day actually was. But I ended up allowing price to pull back on me basically to this candlestick, and I gave back like $16,000 or so on that specific trade. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys that breakdown. It was a pretty great trade. Honestly, it was literally brainless. I didn't even have to think about it anytime I moved my stop loss. The only little crucial part was, battling my emotions in the beginning and wanting to get into the markets. Obviously I had some fear that it's like, okay, well, you know what, we're going to be trading in the afternoon session. I don't normally trade in the afternoon session, but, if it turns into a day trade and, when that volume comes back in after lunchtime, it could potentially work out. And that's essentially what kind of happened here. And the trade was a pretty solid trade, and I hope you guys understood why I ended up taking this position. I know I haven't posted a breakdown in a long time on my YouTube channel, but if you guys want more active breakdowns, obviously you guys can join the free Telegram community where I literally post breakdowns every single week almost, and I really hope you guys do enjoy the video. Other than that, everybody, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Hey, that was a good video, I enjoyed watching that. Good breakdown. He said how I made $70,000, but I swear it said 350. I'm unsure about that though. Maybe I'm lying, but I swear it said 350. But great analysis. The way he backtests and explains everything is perfect. Everyone, go subscribe to him. Link in the description. You need to check him out. If you look on YouTube, there's some other videos with him in, but different channels. And he knows a lot about trading. Probably more than most people. So definitely you got to utilize that and take as much information as he knows, and it's all from the top of his head. Everything he's explaining is all part of the top of his head, what he's learned in all these years. So utilize that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Like and subscribe.